I'm in the studio and I am reworking a denim jacket. Now, the first thing, this is a vintage denim jacket. This one is actually Ralph RF. I thought it was Ralph Lauren. I'm not sure who that is, but I don't think it's real vintage. Like, it's not like a old, Levi. It's got this different detailing on it, but I wanted to roughen it up and make it look more vintage. So I cut some holes in it, just randomly cut holes, and then I washed it. And so when you wash the denim after you cut the holes, it will give its like distressed look. I also trimmed some of the bottom, just the seam there, so that it would fray a little bit, which I like to cut off all the sort of existing hanger-oners, like these strings. Like, some of them are good, some of them need to be cut off. And it's just, that's your discretion. Like, somebody might think they look great hanging, and some of you might not. What's good to your eye is good to somebody's eye, but you don't have to agree, right? But somebody will like your creativeness. So I washed it, and now I am going to decorate it. And it's January here in California, and a denim jacket is something we can wear year round. It's a little cold right now, where somebody might be wearing a leather jacket or a big, winter jacket, but it doesn't happen very often. So this is a year-round seller for me. I did the camo last season. I'm not sure if I did a video on that, but this year I'm gonna follow the same formula. So what I normally do is I will have a formula. I will have, like, I know already what I wanna do here. What I wanna do is I want to put underneath, see if I can find one I like. Well, let's just say, I don't know if this is going to be the one, but I want to put these underneath it. These sequin bits underneath it. I don't think that's the one though. Because I'm kind of, oh, here we go. Like, look at this pretty one. Okay, so this one's going to go underneath. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pin it down, and I just would recommend, I never like to pin because I go too fast and I'm just excited, I want it done. But I learned kind of the hard way that if you pin it, you won't have to take it apart and redo it. Like, a lot of times, it's kind of like gambling. Like, if you don't pin it, it might work out and it might not. So to take the extra couple of minutes to pin is kind of not, I've learned over the years, is not that big of a deal. So that's one side. And then the other side is going to get maybe a similar one, maybe a little bit different. I have here a whole bag of these scraps that my assistant cut up to make our squares. So, like, some of them are good. Like, here, this looks like a good one. So I'm going to cut this. I have a pair of scissors. I just use these scissors to cut sequins and beads because it makes, it'll ruin your scissors. So if I go to use these scissors, you can almost hear it. If I go to use these scissors on a piece of silk, oh my God, it's a disaster. It's a mess. And so I also learned that the hard way. As a designer, our scissors are our tools, and my tools, I might have a little bit of a very artistic, chaotic sort of experience in here where it looks like nothing's organized, but actually I do know where all of my stuff is. And like my tools, like, for instance, my machine, I don't really let anyone get on my machine, because I had once a girl that she did know how to sew, because I gave her I tested her on it, and then what happened was she ruined something. I don't know exactly what she did, but whatever happened, see how this looks like it's so easy, but really you need to pin it. If you don't pin it, you might miss that corner and then you have to take it apart, or it just doesn't look as good. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on the back, okay? So anyways, this gal that I hired, she knew how to sew, but then something happened to the machine, and instead of stopping and coming to get me, she just kept going, and it was like a $400 mistake. So anyways, this is what my one assistant does, and she sews all of these squares, whip stitches them, because we cannot do these on the machine. I did have a question somebody asked, well, how do you help the sequins and the beads not coming off? If you do a thick enough stitch, it kind of saves it. Now listen, it might happen, and I'm not guaranteeing that a sequin isn't going to come off, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this on the back, I think. But I kind of like, okay, so this is just the eye of the beholder. There's nothing more than this is just simply the eye of the beholder. And I don't like it. It feels like a wedding dress. I want something funkier. I want something more I like the beaded, but I don't want that square. Like maybe I just want to use this piece as the whole piece. So again, my eye sees something, your eye might see something differently. Of course, now I see this. I love this. What about doing the white? And see, now this is happy. My eye is happier because it's more Baroque. It's more me. I think that's going to be it. So let me put it together and I'll come right back. Okay, so I changed everything. I felt like I've done that and I wanted to do something different. So I'm kind of into this. Now, I want this to fit in this panel back here. So what I do is I make sure it's covering the actual where I want it to go to, because if I sewed it on this straight line, it's going to throw everything off, right? And then I pin the bottom in the center. I normally try to do the center so I know what's going on, and then I will cut it so that it fits in the sleeve. So again, you don't have to pin it, but you will be sorry if you, on something like this, I've made so many mistakes. So I am giving it like an extra little, maybe ½ an inch, so that I can make sure the seam is turned under. And the bottom, I'm giving it even more. Better to have a little bit more than not enough, because, I mean, you know why, right? Because if you have it, here, let me put this up. If you don't have enough, then you have to recut, and then you waste. This is a vintage, do I have it in? Yeah, this is a vintage. Now see, I just kind of cut it a little short there. Yeah, I kind of messed it up, but I'll go back in. And straighten it out. So what I would say is, if you're nervous, just put more pins on it. Yeah, if you are nervous, see, I can straighten this out. If you are nervous, add pins to hold it down. And this will be perfect when I get it on. And then I'm also going to do these red pieces here. So I'll show you how it looks in a sec. Okay, so completely different piece than I set out to make. I'm just trimming the inside where the rips were. I'm trimming that fabric. And I think, you know, the lesson of today, this actually turned into a whole different lesson than just showing you how to redo a denim jacket. You know, the lesson really is you can have a plan when you go into the studio. And, you know, it's such a fine line, because you want to commit to doing it, but you also want to keep yourself flexible enough to pivot if you need to. So this has turned into a completely different jacket. There is a little mistake here that I think I'm gonna take it off and pull it down. right there. But, you know, you're only accountable to yourself. So you look in your eyes. So if you love this piece, like I also was, you know, I do a lot with the fur here. Well, I'm just feeling like maybe we want to try something different for a change. On this jacket, I may go to the fur at the next one, but this one feels really fun. I love the way, I love this. This makes it me, this makes it me. The Indian fabric makes it a little bit different for me. And don't be afraid to say like, you know what, I'm not feeling that one. Why waste your time doing something if you don't feel it? That's the number one. Number two, a denim jacket is such an easy thing to start with reworking because all the bones are there. So you can add to it, you can take collars off, you can take waistbands off. There's so much you can do. So if you're just starting and you have your machine, get something that's already made, like a denim jacket, and just start fucking it up and see what you get. Thanks for watching.